Welcome to Helping Hands with your hosts, John Neiman and Judy Ritchie.
Hello and welcome to Helping Hands. It's our opportunity to let you and the community know how you can lend a helping hand to a program or agency in need. I'm Judy Ritchie, Community Advocate.
I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center, and welcome to our December edition of Helping Hands. We're also marking a special occasion with this December show. This will be the beginning of our 16th year on Oshkosh Media with Helping Hands, and we're so excited to be here and to share all the good things with you. Where can you see us? Where can you hear us? We're on Oshkosh Media, on Spectrum. We're also on the radio at 101.9 FM. To get the schedule of our show and all the other wonderful shows on Life TV, you can go to oshkoshmedia.org. We also, especially because this is our holiday show, we really want to thank our sponsor who's been with us for many, many years, and that's Aurora Healthcare. They make it possible for this show to be on the air. And also our set decor is by Harnick's Flowers and Gifts on 9th Street, so we're so appreciative of them. This show is so very special that someone came to visit us a little early, but we're so glad he's here. We're welcoming Santa Claus to our show.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Santa, you're doing a really special thing these days, but let's go back over some things. The three of us have worked together over the last probably 25 years.
A long time.
And we had Festival of Trees, the things that you've done in the schools, and what you're doing at Aurora now. So give us a little bit of history of, not just all the North Pole stuff, but all the community stuff that you do.
For several years, we've been involved in animal-assisted therapy in the Oshkosh Public School System, and I think 1997 to about 2002, working with exceptional needs children and cognitive disability classes in elementary and middle school. We took a variety of animals right from the farm to the classroom so the kids could all have a hands-on experience and that type of thing. And then we were involved with volunteers from the DAC organization coming out to do community service at the farm for us. And it was quite an experience for them to come out and help deliver a calf and things like that. And then now we're moving on with our dogs to do pet therapy at Aurora. We visit some of the nursing homes, and we just found out this week that we've been approved to help the Fond du Lac County Social Services when they're involved with removing children from homes or difficult situations and kind of mediating between parents and children to make it a calmer situation for them.
And all of that is such good stuff, but I have to say that you are Santa, you are Santa. You are way ahead of the curve, because pet therapy in the last couple of years has been a big hot topic, a big buzzword, but you were doing that before it was the buzzword. And as you were telling us before with the students at Lincoln School, the teachers worked it into their curriculum. Yes,
they would, if we brought a horse, they would do a curriculum with the letter H. If we brought a cow, what C, chewing, different colors, things like that. And then the kids always had an opportunity to, pet, touch, hold, use their motor skills and speech skills, was the idea behind that. So
I just think that is very unique and very different, because some people, we do hear it a lot, they say, oh, I have a pretty dog. It can be a pet therapy dog, can't it? And they don't realize that there is a lot to do beforehand before your dog can be a pet therapy dog. Do you want to talk about that a little?
Yes, he had been in several classes with Ideal Dog Training in Oshkosh with Lindsay Vernier. They had different types of citizenships and good manners and advanced manners that he had gone through. And then to be certified for a therapy dog, we're certified through Alliance of Therapy Dogs out of Colorado, which Lindsay is a certified tester for. So you have to go through 3 half-hour tests minimum, being observed in a nursing home or a hospital situation, that type of thing, to see how they react to wheelchairs, walkers, somebody on crutches, walking into a patient's room that's on oxygen, hearing the pump go off, and things like that. How do they react to a patient sitting in a chair near a bed, that type of thing, or if something would fall in the hall. It's just getting them used to all that type of thing.
Well, and the thing is, Kager is almost the size of a pony. Kager is definitely not the little tiny lap dog, although I'm sure he tries to be. But why don't you tell us a little bit? The breed, how old he is. What are some of the specific skills that he brings to
Sure.
to Aurora?
Kager's a 3.5-year-old Bernese mountain dog. We got him from a breeder in Illinois named Mary Thomas, and we just happened to run across her on the internet, and she had him available looking for a good home. He has excellent temperament, which is part of the Bernese background, so they're real mild and docile, with children and adults, so that made him a real good candidate for becoming a therapy dog.
He just is so calm, around here and with people. When you see his face too, he's got the most adorable face. To be a perfect temperament for a pet therapy dog. But as you talked about too before, with pet therapy, you have to meet a lot of the regulations and guidelines, but then you also have the regulations from the hospital. So the dog has to be groomed, it has to be up to date on its shots. So there's a lot that you're putting into this in order to come and volunteer.
Yes. Like you said, you have your criteria that you have, and then Alliance of Therapy Dogs has their things that you have to have. When they go to visit, they're not allowed to lick a patient or anything like that. They can be petted and handled and that type of thing, and they have to be walked on a shorter leash so that they can interact with that type of thing. But there's a number of things that they have to follow.
And with this too, sometimes, as you have found out because you're at Aurora, as you have found out, sometimes people forget the 2-legged handler, and it's the four-legged dog that all the attention is.
Well, as we were talking earlier, we were there just the other day going down the hallway, and all of a sudden there's somebody kind of walking at a fast pace going, "Is that Kager? Is that Kager?" And,
It's like, never mind the handler there, it's Kager.
Yes.
Well, I do have to say, Kager is official, so we have Kager's name badge here. Kager is a volunteer, a 4-legged volunteer, even has his picture on the back. So that is for you.
Thank you very much.
Kager, which makes him official. He's been at Aurora a couple times, and the response has just been wonderful. And the benefits of pet therapy, as we know, is it calms people down. It lowers the blood pressure.
Right.
But another benefit that we were talking about before the show was what it does to a person in remembering.
Well, we were up on the recovery ward a couple of times where people had knee replacements, and we were talking to 2 individuals that started reminiscing about the animals that they had on the farm, the types of dogs that they had, and then the daughter and son-in-law started, bringing up some of the conversation that they had. So it can help stimulate conversation, and sometimes if people had a mild stroke or something like that, you can come in and they can pet or they can brush. Or they can walk them down a hallway with their walker or wheelchair, to help stimulate, things like that.
Well, and it's been proven that folks with dementia, memory loss, having the pets around, it, again, triggers those memories and can be, especially if it's an individual that's agitated, if the animal stays calm, it tends to calm that individual also.
And you can actually, use the animal as a third party for
Absolutely.
stimulating conversation, where sometimes, talking to you and I, John, you might not get more of a conversation or something that you're looking for. There's some type of a situation where they can actually, start talking to the dog as a third party, and you might find out more information than just a regular conversation.
And it brings back a memory. We've had pet therapy at Aurora since we opened in 2003. And there was one case where the two-legged volunteer and the four-legged volunteer were walking down ICU, and the dog actually went into the patient. It just went into the patient's room, not knowing the story that the woman that was in that room was a nurse, and she was comatose. She had an event in her life, and she was comatose, and she was a dog lover. And that dog, and it just gives me chills when I think about this, the dog walked up to her, right by her, by her hand, and she started petting the dog. She came out of her coma, and within a week, she was out of there and back home. And I call that a Christmas miracle. I just think it's wonderful the effect that dogs can have, because maybe something went through her mind that she remembered her dog or something, but she was so grateful to that dog for what the dog did for her.
Yeah, it's incredible what they can do in different situations.
And you have different stories to tell too, besides your dogs and your horses, because you did things with horses too, correct?
We have taken horses to nursing homes, and the nursing staff would grab the horse by the halter and go down the hallway and would go into patients' rooms with the horses and things like that, and simulate conversations and that type of thing. And we had taken a variety of animals, and like I said, now we're using the dogs to do that same thing, so we can, go to area nursing homes. And the one nice thing about being certified through Alliance of Therapy Dogs, if there is a situation in the community, a storm, something bad happens, and the request goes out for therapy dogs, he can now go and help service those areas.
That's really cool. And on the screen right now for our audience, there is Kegger at Aurora, and you can just see the joy on the people's faces there when they get to see Kegger. And it's good not only for the patients, but it's also good for our caregivers who are in stressful situations, just to have this wonderful animal in there where they pet and they calm down and their blood pressure goes down, and they're just much better for having.
A lot of the staff said if there aren't people on the floor recovering, you're still welcome to come up and visit. So
see, exactly.
We have 2 or 3 regular scheduled stops now at Aurora to visit your staff.
And that's only going to increase.
Yes.
Now I also sent you something because Aurora is doing something this year with pet therapy. They're asking for to have the animals dressed up in their finest, and so Aurora's actually having a pet therapy holiday costume contest for all of Aurora. So it means all the hospitals in our system. So we're voting for Kegger here to be one of the winners of it. But I think it's a cute thing to do, and it also shows all of the people and the animals who volunteer, because remember, this is a volunteer position, and you're giving of your time and your talent in this, and we're so appreciative of it.
Well, and I'd like to go back to the horse, because you told a really neat story, keeping the language clean, of one of the adventures.
This is Santa Claus!
Of one of the adventures that you had in one of the schools.
Well, we've taken horses down the hallways and into the classrooms to help lead some of the children out that might have had difficulty walking or something like that, which now Kegger will be doing. And there was a couple of the schools that had an elevator to a second floor, and we'd put the horse in the elevator and go up to the second floor to visit that classroom. And there was one instance where the principal of the school was standing on the second floor, and when the doors opened up, she just basically, she said "Happy Holidays" twice.
Because I bet you that was a surprise.
Yes,
a definite surprise for her.
Yes, but like when Kegger gets off the elevator at Aurora, if there's people standing by the door, it gets quite the reaction, and they ask if they can pet them, can they take their picture, and as you're aware of, Kegger's kind of circulated around the system at Aurora, that a lot of the staff already know he's visiting 2 or 3 times a week, so that's a good thing.
One of the things, because we had him on camera, have him stand up so people can actually see his size. He blends in with the curtains, but
he's gorgeous. He's 3.5 years old, and he's about 110 pounds.
And just the gentlest dog. I've never heard him bark, yet I know you said he barks, but just very, very nice dog.
Yeah, he has an excellent temperament, and that's why this is such a good therapy opportunity for him. That we're really thankful that you allow him to come and visit Aurora.
And and then you called him Santa Paws because he's got the bells on, so people know he's here. But what a great Christmas gift for him. I also want to say, because you are one of Santa's helpers.
Yes.
But you and Mrs. Claus have done so much in our community. We want to give you credit too. So if you wouldn't mind
Just
pulling your beard down, and so we can give credit to you for what you've done. You and your wife Sue. So this is Wes and
That's
Sue
Krantz.
Krantz, and they have been so active. The name of your business that you had, Picket
Fences Pet Pals.
Picket Fences Pet Pals, where you did so much back then, and we were reminiscing about the Festival of Trees, where it was wonderful. It was at the convention center.
Right.
It was a huge Christmas event, and then it morphed into
Tis
the
the
season.
season.
But you guys did so much there, and we want to take this opportunity really to thank you and Sue, who could not be here today because somebody has to work.
Yes.
Somebody has to work, but you guys did so much. We really want to thank you for all you've done.
We thank you very much.
Well, you've just been so much of an institution with the holidays, but so much that you've done with kids, the youth in the community. And not everyone has that temperament, whether it be, the animal or the person. And you guys have just gone above and beyond.
When you work with special needs children or just children or adults in general, when you see their reaction to interacting with the animals, we've said for years that, an animal's gift is unconditional love with no questions asked. They don't care, what color your skin is, if you're wealthy, if you're poor, how you're dressed, where you live. It's just their chance to interact, and bond with a third party.
I also want to say you're not new to Oshkosh Media, because if I remember correctly, you and Sue had your own show.
Yeah, we had a program for about 5 years, and we were fortunate enough to win an award here and there. But
and it was a good show because you guys did decorating, seasonal decorating. I remember the pumpkins in the fall. I remember the Christmas. So you were a star back then too, just like you are now.
Well, thank you.
Well, as we keep repeating over and over again, the contributions that you've made to the community, the collaboration, I think is a good term, of setting an example for a lot of us, otherwise. And we hope that you're going to continue to do it for a long time.
Well, like I said, he's just 3.5, and we got a 8-month-old that's about 4 inches taller than Kiger that's going through classes now. So hopefully by next spring or next summer, he'll be cruising the hallways of Aurora.
Wow,
Well,
that is great.
And maybe by next year we can get things scheduled appropriately, that we can have Sue, we can have Wes, and we can have both dogs.
That would be cool.
We'd really have a party then.
Yeah, we would.
And again, our show is winding down. We just want to thank you for being the champion of pet therapy. We appreciate it very, very much. We're so glad that you could be with us today. We wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Thank you. Sue and I thank you very much.
And we'll be back. Stay tuned. We'll be back for our second segment of our December edition of Helping Hands.
It's not a charity, it's more than a charity. It's about helping people we live with. It's about being the type of person that the 6-year-old version of ourselves wanted us to be. It's about community and looking out for one another. It's about money, yes, but it's so much more than money. It's about friendship and common values. It's about opening doors when others are slammed shut. It's about giving kids a place to be kids and growing up knowing they live in a community that cares about them. It's about making sure that everyone gets to see the dentist, because we want to make sure that they have every last tooth in those smiles. Ultimately, that's it. It's about the smiles, old smiles and new smiles. It's about us, all of us, our community living united, because great things happen when we live united. Will you join us?
Hi there, and welcome back to our second segment of our holiday edition of Helping Hands. This is our December show, and one thing that we are grateful for, Christmas is the time like Thanksgiving where you always talk about the things you're grateful for, and really, I am grateful for this show because it's done so much in our community with volunteers, and its longevity is amazing. This is the start of our 16th year with Aurora Healthcare as our sponsor, so we're really grateful for Aurora for this because they are big backers of Oshkosh Media, also a focus on health and other segments, so we really want to thank them for that again.
Right, and thinking back to when we started and Judy Britton with our first show and all of that, we were amazed when we got to year 2 and 3 and every year because so many programs don't make it. And what we've had is such strong community support for what we're doing. And, you know, one of the things that is a challenge is some of the agencies and programs we'd like to bring on, folks don't want to go before the camera.
They are shy.
And I do have something that I need to share with you because our friend Jane from hospice always says no. And I happened to corner her in the office and told her that perhaps she should be coming on because corporate would really like it and that she wouldn't have to do all the talking, just have a couple of her volunteers coming along with her.
Which we always like.
Absolutely. So she said she would think about it.
But I think she would see the exposure too. She knows the exposure of the show and getting volunteers. And we like the idea of volunteers being on the show because they show firsthand, you know, what's going on.
They're sharing their passion.
And I have to say, we've gone through a lot of growing pains with this show. I mean, we started out with a small hand-painted sign. We're high-tech now. We have a TV monitor that has our logo on it. And
we still have our hands.
And we still have our hands because that's what we're really all about is helping hands. I do want to say there is an event going on at Aurora mid-December through mid-January, and that's our hat, mitten, scarf tree, which we started a couple years ago. And people, the first question they said is, why are you doing it so late? It should be done beforehand.
And that's totally bogus. And I don't mean to slam anything, you know, that goes before. What goes before is very, very important. But what people forget is, you know, we've been fortunate that we can replenish supplies for our kids and our grandkids. But there are a lot of people out there that can't afford that. So they, over Christmas break, those kids lose their hats, scarves, mittens, whatever. Even the adults do. School supplies for teacher's closet. Mid-year, all of a sudden those notebooks and everything are gone, and it's time to replenish. And we don't have the big sales in January to do that we are used to seeing in July and August.
Exactly, because like in January, they start their spring sales already. So we encourage you, if you're at Aurora Medical Center or clinic, there will be a donation tree up in our cafeteria mid-December through mid-January. Then mid-January, around the 15th or so, we separate and we try to give those items to the low-income schools so they can have them. So we're looking for hats, mittens, and scarves to benefit all of our wonderful children in our community.
The other thing to take into account is that in that November, December time period, people are always very generous in their donations. And again, they forget that hunger extends all year long. So those donations that you did with the Boy Scout drive and everything just before Thanksgiving and Christmas, those supplies are already used up and they need to be replenished. And so always keeping that in mind. When you're going, buy one, get one free, make sure you get that. Maybe if things aren't too limited, get 2 free. Or buy 2 for yourself and 2 to donate.
Right. And this is an opportunity for me publicly to thank those agencies who support Aurora through their donations, through their talents, through their craft, for items that they donate for our patients. So we have the wonderful group, the Lakeside Quilters.
And they do everything from the Christmas stockings, placemats, tote bags, a lot of different things.
And not just at Aurora, but throughout our community. We also have Lynn Mazinga and the Wisconsin Warmers, who do the same thing with their wonderful handmade quilts. And the unique item, too, that is being done are pillowcases,
Right.
which have gone over so well. We give the pillowcases away in the walk-in, in pediatrics, in surgery, in the ER. And it's something that really does make a child or an adult feel so much better because they're getting something that they can take home for them that was personalized by that group.
And it's not blah white.
Right.
It's bright and it's cheerful.
Right, exactly.
And especially with the children. One of the things too, and with Altrusa, Stacy from the pharmacy brought up the fact that at the pharmacy when kids are getting their prescriptions, a lot of times they give a small stuffed animal to the child. And so with our December meeting, we're collecting those, lots of small, stuffed toys for her to replenish her supply there.
Which is really nice to have, because we also do that in the ER and all surgery and all over. We also have to talk about, my mind is just slipped. This is the old age. Christ Child Society, how
Absolutely.
could I forget that? What they do not only for Aurora but all over with their layette sets for those young mothers who are in need, or with any of the items that they use if God forbid there has to be a burial, they have those burial outfits for them also,
Right.
all free of charge. It's amazing the work that the Christ Child Society does. Well, we know because one of the guests was our unsung hero.
Right. The other thing to keep in mind is we've got a lot of friends and neighbors that may be homebound or of an age that clearing their sidewalks after a storm. When you're clearing your driveway and your sidewalk, just go on over to the neighbors and do the same thing.
And I agree with that totally. There's nothing better than coming home after a long day in a snowstorm and looking and seeing that someone did your driveway or your sidewalk for you.
Right.
Amazing gifts that we can give. Or in our day and age today, just checking on your neighbors to make sure that they are all right, I think is a big thing that all of us can do in giving back and in volunteering.
Right. And also with folks that are not feeling well or whatever, when you're checking on them, take a meal over, or just your leftovers from your big holiday meal, share with them. Little things like that mean a huge thing to them.
So we do appreciate you being with us for these past 15 years. Join us on our journey for this, our 16th year of our Helping Hand show. We're wishing you the happiest and healthiest of holidays. I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center.
And Judy Ritchie, Community Advocate. Thank you for having us in your home all this time, and happy holidays.